Do you believe that it's possible for success to be easy? Have you experienced flow in life? Do you know how to eliminate self-sabotage so that you can really step forward into the next version of your best life? In this value-packed webinar, I'm going to share with you how to eliminate self-sabotage and be unstoppable in your life. And if you've ever had the experience of working hard but not making progress, or feel like no matter how much effort or time you put into projects and people, it's just never enough. Or maybe you just notice that there's just some invisible barrier holding you back and you don't know what it is. I'm going to share with you how you can identify exactly what it is and move those obstacles out of the way so that you're able to move forward with a lot more ease and achieve with more ease. My name is Dr. Shannon Tran, and I'm a licensed clinical psychologist for the last 19 years. Just like you, I struggled with working hard and being out of harmony with myself and just feeling empty and unfulfilled and not spending quality time with my amazing family. In 2014, I was feeling exhausted, overworked, and burned out. There wasn't any time for myself, and I was just going from task to task without any feeling of joy or fulfillment. My life was on autopilot. I'd been successfully navigating my corporate America job as a clinical psychologist for 15 years at that time, and I was even promoted to a management position. But I just didn't feel successful on the inside. And it took some time to really recognize that there was something missing, that there was something that was causing me to feel unfulfilled despite my accomplishments. You know, I had a hard time relaxing. It was difficult to just enjoy life. I was often in my head and preoccupied with my own thinking. And so I really couldn't be available for the people who really matter to me, my husband and my 3 children. And honestly, it just got to a point, and maybe you're there too, where I just needed to make some real changes in my life, or I was going to face just a serious depression. And in my quest for really understanding what was going on, why was I having all these accomplishments on the outside but feeling so unfulfilled on the inside, I discovered the real problem, and that was self-sabotage. And when I started to deeply understand this, I realized that no matter how many accomplishments I had, no matter what I achieved, it wasn't going to bring me any joy or happiness unless I corrected this problem. And with so many of my clients, I've seen just destruction happen in a life when self-sabotage is not eliminated. I've seen marriages end, companies break down, families fall apart. And so if you feel like you're just really working against yourself, this webinar is for you, and you're going to learn the 5 biggest causes of self-sabotage and how to avoid them. So let's get started. Go ahead and grab a piece of paper because you're going to want to write this information down so that you can see where you need to make changes in your life. So the first most important thing we need to do is understand the problem. Self-sabotage, in its most simple term, means that you're working against yourself in some way. A sign of it might be external. You might not know what the deeper issue is, so it'll often show up on the surface. Perhaps you'll feel burned out, exhausted, overworked, unworthy. You might notice that you're hanging around the wrong kind of people who bring out the worst in you or don't even add value to your life. You may notice that there's a lack of self-love, self-neglect, self-care, or even self-respect. Another sign may be that you don't know your value, or you minimize your value, or you even negatively compare yourself to others. Those are all deeper signs and impact of self-sabotage. One of my high-achieving clients had a desperate need for approval. And he believed that he had to prove his worth to others, and that this caused him to waste a lot of time and energy on the wrong people. And once we identified this belief and addressed his need for approval, especially from women, he was able to let go of toxic relationships, be at peace with himself, dissolve fears of rejection and criticism, and release healthy limits with others. And he finally started to spend quality time on the people who actually valued his time, like his family. And this enabled him to save his marriage. If he didn't recognize that at the root of his just discomfort and unhappiness was self-sabotage, he could have easily lost his family. And so I want you to take a moment to just identify your own signs of symptoms that are showing up in your life right now. What do you notice? Are you feeling burned out, exhausted, overworked? Or does it go deeper where you notice lack of self-love or self-respect, or you don't feel worthy? Just take a second right now to notice what is coming up for you as you begin to understand your own challenge. As I mentioned a moment ago, some common signs of self-sabotage is when we tend to work hard but not make progress, when our words, intentions, and actions, they just don't match up. Maybe you feel held back, or you might notice that you keep repeating the same pattern over and over and over again, and you don't know why or how to even get out of it. And so next, I'm going to share the 5 biggest reasons for self-sabotage so it never ruins your relationships with yourself or others again. All right, let's dive into the first one. The first one is when we have incorrect focus. So here's the problem. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but it's a habit. That's what Aristotle said many years ago. So the problem with incorrect focus is that you could be focusing on what's not working, not right, or what's missing from your life. And when we just focus on the wrong, when our attention is always on lack and limitation, we become blind to the good. We start to miss opportunities. We start to lose hope, encouragement, and then we get weighed down by negativity. And so the solution is you've got to start redirecting your focus to what's right. What's good about your life? What's going well? What have you been able to overcome so far? What have you been able to manage and use as a strength? And so one way that you can correct this focus problem is to start to listen and watch your language. Notice the words that you use on a regular basis. Is it often words of hopelessness, discouragement? Are you saying things aren't getting better? Do you notice that you keep saying the same story over and over again? And then I want you to use the 3 to 1 ratio. This is the ratio of positivity, and this concept of the 3 to 1 ratio, I could do a whole nother webinar on it. And if you'd like more information, you can look at the book by Barbara Fredrickson, because she talks about this concept in her book, Positivity. But what this means is we have a tendency to overweight the negative, and so it takes 3 positive just to balance out the negative because of our natural tendency to overweigh the negative. And it's really important when you have daily challenges in your life, or when you're not making progress, or when you're not getting the results that you want, not to get caught up in the negative. So you've got to neutralize it by practicing the 3-to-1 ratio. What's good about what you're going through? What are you learning? How is it shaping your character? More importantly, you need to be able to do this 75% of the time. Anything less than that, and you're going to go back into a negative cycle. So not only do you need to practice the 3-to-1 ratio, but you need to be able to do it 75% of the time in order to hit a thrive state. Again, anything less than that, and you're going to be prone to negativity. And so again, you're going to end up working against yourself when you're not able to maintain this positivity ratio. The other thing you can do is simply practice a gratitude journal. That's a great way to connect with positive feelings, notice the good in your life, and to be able to recognize what you're doing well, what you appreciate about yourself. All right, let's go on to the second reason for self-sabotage. That's placing little value on yourself or your accomplishments. When we lack pride in who we are or what you've accomplished, it's going to lead to you feeling like you're not enough. And so I want you to pay attention to yourself. Do you ever tell yourself that you should be further along by now, maybe financially or in a relationship? And do you criticize yourself or feel unable to accept compliments? Maybe you don't even believe that those compliments are real because you're so focused on what you think you don't do well. One of my clients is a nurse, and she's amazing, but she had a lot of negative self-talk. She was very critical of herself. And so she felt like she could never measure up. And worse, she didn't believe that she deserved to ask for help. And so what would happen is she would struggle on her own. She couldn't ask for what she wanted. And so she couldn't see her value, and she would overgive and overgive and overgive. And this led to her getting burned out and feeling unworthy of good things. And it wasn't until we started to shift her thinking and remove the belief that she has to earn love, that she has to do everything on her own like a lone wolf. Once we remove that, her critical mind shifted, her critical mind softened, and we were able to replace it with a compassionate mind. And so now she's noticing more self-esteem. She's feeling good about herself. She's able to ask for what she wants in her relationships, and they're becoming more fulfilling. She's allowing her husband to cook for her, to support her in her efforts to advance her career. And so now she has a lot of energy. One of the ways that you can work on your self-image is each day acknowledge to yourself at least 5 things that you did well. What are you proud of yourself for? What did you do that may have been difficult or challenging, but you accomplished it? Maybe you stayed late for work. Maybe you helped someone who felt alone and that no one was there for them. Maybe you brought someone soup who is sick. Just pay attention to the little things that you do every day that makes other people's lives better. The third reason for self-sabotage, and quite honestly, I believe this is the biggest reason, and this is where I spend a lot of time with clients, is on bad subconscious programming. We attract what we believe. Not only what we believe consciously, but more importantly, what we believe subconsciously, what's underneath the surface. And a lot of people just simply aren't aware of their subconscious beliefs. And after working with over 30,000 clients, I now strongly believe that you must work with your subconscious mind in order to truly get to the root of the problem and to clean up the mess of your subconscious. If you only work on the surface level, on your conscious mind, you're not going to get to the deepest pain. You're not going to be addressing the root of the problem. So similar to an iceberg, you may have seen that image before. You only see the top of an iceberg. The surface level is like seeing just the top of the iceberg, not the full iceberg itself. So in order to address the root of the problem, you must go beyond the surface. And so when I work with clients, we do some subconscious reprogramming because it's basically getting to the very core of the iceberg of the problem so that they never have to go through that problem again. And I love what Thomas Edison once said. He said, never go to sleep without a request to your subconscious. So one of my clients, Jackson, realized that he had a fear of trusting himself. And he put a lot of pressure on himself to perform well because he was secretly afraid that he would be seen as unreliable. And he wanted to be taken seriously in his work, but all of the pressure he put on himself sapped his energy, and he couldn't keep up with his own expectations. He would react by engaging in self-criticism, but this only made the problem worse. And so he started working against himself, and eventually he started to do the very thing he hated, being unreliable. And what we came to realize that underneath he had a fear that he's unreliable, that he's untrustworthy. And that is why he was working so hard. That was why he was putting so much pressure on himself, because he was afraid that he would be like his dad, because all that he saw was that men were unreliable. And so you've got to clear up your limiting negative subconscious beliefs and manage those insecurities so that you're not repeating patterns from family members or your upbringing or society or the other influences that we have as we grow up in life. And so you must reprogram your subconscious mind. And you'll know if you need subconscious programming, because if your conscious desires aren't aligned with your subconscious beliefs, if you're saying, I want to earn $350,000 a year, but you don't think you're worthy of it or deserve it, or you don't think it's possible, that's an indication that you have negative subconscious beliefs and that you need to do some reprogramming. So just really pay attention to your beliefs that come up when you're going after goals. Are they negative? Are they limiting? Are they self-defeating? Pay attention, because that lets you see exactly whether or not you have bad subconscious programming. According to T. Harv Eker, author of Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, if your subconscious blueprint is not set for success, nothing you learn, nothing you know, and nothing you do will make much of a difference. I'm going to say that again, especially if you're working really hard and you don't know why you're stuck. If your subconscious blueprint is not set for success, nothing you learn, nothing you know, and nothing you do will make much of a difference. You've got to reprogram your subconscious mind. Reason number 4 for self-sabotage is lack of implementation. I see this all the time. You know, people say, oh, I want to move to Hawaii, or I want, this car, or I want this relationship. And they talk about it, but I don't see them actually working on it. I don't see them taking any action. And so it's just words. It's just statements. There's not any implementation. If you're not taking consistent action that's aligned with your goals or your vision, and you're not applying what you know, or you're playing small and procrastinating, then you have self-sabotage. And that is going to sap your confidence and your self-belief. You're going to stop believing that what you want is even possible for you if you only talk about it, but you don't implement. And this is the saddest thing that I see, is when people take the time to learn something new or gain a skill or you know, take a program. I had a colleague who went into a dating program and she paid thousands of dollars, and then she didn't implement. She didn't go on dates. She didn't do things to get to know people. You've got to implement if you want to see progress in your life, and make sure you're taking the right action. So write down a daily action plan that is consistent with your goal. And then get an accountability partner. Find a friend, a family member, or even a coach who can hold you accountable, because it's so easy for us to put it off or make excuses or procrastinate. And so we all need accountability partners to reach our goals. So get one. Even your phone can be an accountability partner if you program it to remind you. Okay, reason number 5 for self-sabotage is lack of clarity. When you don't know what you want, or you have scattered thinking or scattered efforts, it allows confusion to take over your thinking and your life. And when I talk with people, I see so many people that they don't know what they want or why they want it. And so what happens is they just let life happen to them. They just get caught up in other people's agenda, and they never feel fulfilled because they don't know what's most important to them. They haven't taken the time to create their own vision, one that's deeply fulfilling and meaningful. And when I first started working on this, I realized that I didn't really know what I wanted. I thought I know what I wanted, and I thought I should be doing what other people wanted me to do, but I didn't know what I wanted. And so gaining clarity, it might take some time. And what I have found is seeking clarity is an ongoing endeavor. That's how we become a high performer, is we're routinely seeking clarity, asking deep questions. What do I really want in my life? What do I want my life to really look like in every area of my life? How would it feel? How would it look? What would I see? What would the experience be? You can do this even in your relationships. How am I showing up? What does my body language say? What does my tone of voice say? What's the quality of my relationships? When you start getting that clear, you will start to remove the fog and confusion that comes up when we don't have clarity. The clearer you are about your goals and objectives, the more effective you will be. One of my mentors, Dan Locke, says, your success in life will be largely determined by how clear you are about what you really, really want. So do this. Ask someone you trust. If your goal is clear, share your goal with them. Can they see it in their mind? When you share your goal, is it specific enough where they could literally see it like a picture? Does it make sense? Is it even doable? Is it realistic? Does it give you passion and excitement when you read it? Does it like light you up? If not, keep gaining more clarity. And there's so many studies, and you probably have heard of them before, that talk about the power of actually writing down your goal, not typing it, but physically writing down your goal, because it activates the neurons in a much deeper way. Write down your goal. Get connected with a vision that's fulfilling to you, that's important to you, that could be the navigator in your life. So whenever you're having to make difficult choices, you can just look at your vision to guide you. You don't have to overthink. You don't have to overanalyze. You don't have to question and have self-doubt. You could just look at your vision and know exactly what to do. And that'll help you move forward so much faster in life. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is how to identify your sabotage villain. And I'm going to take you through basically a 5-minute exercise designed to increase your awareness, expose your mind chatter, get you grounded, and help you identify your biggest self-sabotage villain. So when you're ready, just go ahead and close your eyes. If you're driving at this point, you can just listen and pay attention and come back later, because this is a very important exercise to quiet down your mind so that you can really connect and bring up those deeper thoughts to let them bubble up so you can really see what the challenge is. So, if you're busy right now, come back to this, because it's really powerful to have this moment of self-reflection and just connect with yourself. So what I'd like you to do is close your eyes if you're in a place to do so. And I want you to just imagine that you're sitting on a tiny wooden bridge and there's a stream below you. And there's water flowing. And I just want you to pay attention to what's around you. Are there trees, grass, or flowers around where you're sitting? Notice if the sounds around you, are there birds chirping or the wind whistling? And as you begin to just see what's around you, hear what's around you, and smell what's around you, bring your attention now to the water and notice that there's leaves flowing down the stream. The leaves are of different colors. There's red, orange, brown. With each leaf that passed by, I want you to take a thought that comes into your mind. You're just going to place it on the leaf. And at first, when you get started, you may notice that there's many thoughts, and that's okay. These are supernatural leaves that can hold many, many thoughts. So as each leaf goes by, just go ahead and take whatever thought comes to mind. You're going to place it on a leaf. Just notice it. Just let it go down the stream. And just continue to do this for another minute. Just as each thought comes, take it out and put it on the leaf. As you do this, you may notice that your mind begins to slow down and that perhaps there's less thoughts. Maybe there's feelings that come up. If feelings come up, just go ahead and put those on the leaf too. There's no need to analyze or judge or get sidetracked by these thoughts or feelings. For now, we're just practicing letting them come up, noticing them, and putting them on a leaf. Just allow any thought you may have to come up, bubble up, and then put it on the leaf. And we're going to do this for about 30 more seconds. Thought comes up, take hold of it, just put it on the leaf. And then go ahead and open your eyes. Now what I want you to do is get a piece of paper and I want you to write down which thoughts or which sabotage resonates with you the most. I've shared 5. Do you notice that you have incorrect focus? Are you not taking action? Are you having a lot of negative self-sabotage? A lot of negative subconscious programming. Just notice what's coming up for you. And then I want you to ask yourself, what's one action you can take to end the sabotage? Do you need help clearing your beliefs? Do you need help creating a vision because you lack clarity? Do you need to learn a new skill, adjust habits, or just change who you spend time with. I mean, maybe you need to begin to set healthy boundaries and learn to assert yourself in relationships and take a stand for yourself. I want you to go ahead and write that down. And just declare to yourself that you're going to work on ending this sabotage villain. So as we go into the third part of this webinar, I want to share how to create a heart-centered goal and a clear vision. Because as I mentioned, this is key for a lot of people. They don't have a vision. So the intention of this next exercise is to give you clarity about the goals that you may want to create so you can achieve with more ease. And we're going to explore the difference between traditional goals and heart-centered goals so that you can work towards what you really want and not what you think you want. And heart-centered goals focus on the essence of what we really want rather than the form. Okay, so in a heart-centered goal, what that means is really getting to the feeling with every goal we ever want, whether it's the house or whether it's the relationship or whether it's the money. Truly, it's not those things, it's the feeling we think those things will give us. Such things as love or compassion or freedom or security or romance. And so when we're creating soul-based goals, instead of just traditional goals, we're getting to what we really want, not what we think we want, the essence. Maybe you want to feel powerful or worthy or secure or strong or confident. Get to the essence of what you really want and not just what you think you want. So I'm going to give an example to help you. So one of the goals that I've had for myself is to experience, more freedom and more fulfillment in my work and personal life. And so in my soul-based goal, the essence are those things. The essence is I want to experience more fulfillment and freedom and passion in my work and in my career and what I do in helping people. And so I start my vision, my goal with gratitude. So I'm so happy and I'm so grateful that I now experience passion through my work, fulfillment through my work. I'm so grateful that I am recognized for my efforts. And I'm so grateful that I am able to use my gifts and talents and be able to be well compensated for them. And as I go through my goal and I'm connected to those emotions, I can start to paint a picture. This is what it would look like. This is what I see myself doing. I'm working 35 hours a week and I'm going to an office that is beautiful and it's got a large window that overlooks luscious trees and my furniture is modern and I've got a salt lamp that just glows positive energy and I connect with wonderful colleagues and people who bring out the best in me and we inspire each other and we go out to lunch and we have a good time. So do you see how I can literally visualize it like a picture and I'm feeling it? So when I'm making choices and I'm connecting with people and I'm getting opportunities, I'm making sure that it's connected with that vision, that it's connected with that goal, that it's going to be a match for me. And that becomes the navigation system. And honestly, I'm just giving a quick overview. This piece of it can take several hours. So when I'm going through this with my clients on a deeper level, we really go deep. We go through a whole process of creating that vision of what it would look like, smell like, feel like, hear, what they would hear. I mean, we go deep into this and we write it down, and we then really get our belief systems in alignment. So if this is something that you would like to be able to do, if you know that you're having self-sabotage and it's time to end it, you want to get past it, you're just done. If you want to just drop the lack of clarity, if you want to start implementing, if you want to overcome negative subconscious programming that's been holding you back for years, then I want to invite you to apply for my Freedom from Self-Sabotage special package. And in this special package, we will work on decluttering your mind and clearing out your self-sabotage for good. And normally this package is $2,500, but if you are watching this webinar and you go to this link today, you'll get it at a special price. So if you want to stop working against yourself, if you want to set yourself up for success, if you want to believe that success can be easy, that you deserve it and you're worthy of it, and you want to be able to show up in a powerful way and radiate confidence, compassion, and kindness in all of your relationships, then I invite you to join me in my Freedom from Self-Sabotage offer today. I would love to support you in you overcoming any sabotage that's getting in the way and stealing your dreams and your goals. Again, this is Dr. Shannon Tran, and you can reach out to me if you have any additional questions or you need support at support@shannontranphd.com. Thank you for joining me on this webinar. Bye for now.